Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Hi, folks. The weather is for sure heating up, and Koppel Chevrolet GMC is following suit. The discounts are really as good as they've ever been. $14,500 off list price, or 0% financing on select new models. Folks, you heard that right. Smoking hot deals at Koppel. $14,500 off list price, or 0% APR. So take that short drive down 144th Street or at koppelcars.com. STK number G269520. All deals with trade-in and approved credit.
Play ball! Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Derek Pearson, brought to you by Canopy Street Market.
Boom. In your face. In your face. Thursday night sports conversation. It's going to be a good one. 402-464-5685. The starter him and text line. Want to be a part of what we're doing? You can. And you do. You want to text in. You want to be a part of the conversation. So fire your texting fingers up. You can follow on all the video streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961. You should have downloaded the Ticket app so we can go where you go. We can be wherever you're at. You can jump on Amazon Prime if you're fancy. You're fancy. It's a special episode tonight. We're going to go 2 hours, and we've got some co-conspirators.
You got the coaching staff. Is kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, we've got some dudes in here tonight. And oddly enough, the three of us have never been on air together at the same time.
I would have definitely thought you guys would have.
I would have definitely thought, but I was sitting there this morning, and I was like, okay, I need to have Barry and Haas on. And as soon as I thought that, and I'm like, let me grab the phone and text Haas. He texted me and said, when's the next time you're on air? I was like, tonight. He goes, oh, that's not what I meant. I went, no, that's what I was thinking. I was going to tell you and Barry to come on. And then we're waiting. And then, of course, Haas had the idea. He goes, well, let me host. I'll lead the conversation. I'll ask the questions. So, yeah, that's what Haas is going to do.
All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in the full coaching staff here. We got Barry Thompson, Haas, of course, DP in here. Haas Breezy, that's the host for the show. I'll let you kick it off, man.
So I understand why you put me backstage, because first of all, I was going to complain that you get that music for your show and we have a wrestling show and we don't get that music for our show. Come on, man.
That's Harrison. That's a producer.
Come on, Harrison. Who do we got to know? Who do we got to know to get that cult of personality for our entrance?
We gave him a full show of which songs to choose from. We did a top 10. We gave him a list. Like the Heartbreak Kid theme was there. Stone Cold, well, Carricker used the Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm.
HBK, by the way, Barry,
Jeff
said
Hardy,
is my next wedding song.
So why don't you text Harrison your list of 5? And
I vote outstanding by the Gap Band. Well, let's get this thing swerving.
Let's get it cracking. Haas Tabrizi, what's on your mind, bro?
So we'll talk about wrestling for one more second. What I feel like right now is Raw 2 weeks ago when Braun Breaker came out with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. And Braun Breaker took the microphone and cut a promo, and he's like, "It's my time to talk." Meanwhile, there's Paul Heyman right there, and there's Seth freaking Rollins. So that's you two. And so I'm taking the mic. I'm taking over. I'm the young pup. People are going, woo, 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 woo. But we have you two in the ring. And I'm like, no. Give me the microphone. So there's things that we're going to learn tonight. You two have been around great men, great women. You've built a lot of characters. You've developed a lot of people. So as an adult, as a father, we're going to later on hear what are the qualities that you help instill in these athletes, in these human beings, in these employees of yours. So that's one thing we're going to talk about. Another thing we're going to talk about is, what is it like to be sitting on the bench between you two during an intense competition? So we're going to get a story around that, and we're going to see what it's like. We're going to keep it PG.
Well, remember,
to
I
make
was
sure
never on the bench.
Nebraska's.
I was across the gym.
Oh no, you've sat next to each other. You sat next to each other.
Oh yeah, he had to hold me down.
Yeah,
He had to hold me down. There were times
the
where
funniest story is the Annandale story. We went over to Annandale, and they had gotten wind of DP, and they called him in the warm-up. They got him in the warm-up for something, and they tacked it on, and they said, hey, if you get up, during the game, you're going to get another one. So I didn't know all this.
Is this basketball?
Yeah, and I saw DP sitting on bench. What's up? Because they say I got to sit here.
they hit me with a tech because our managers, and they were amazing managers, but it's the one rule is that the scorebook has to be on the table for the official when he gets to the gym, and she had it with her, and so they hit me with a tech before the game. They missed the free throws, mind you, but when you get a pregame tech, you have to sit the whole game, and they know me. They know me enough to know that I'm going to give them the business anyway.
They're probably so happy to get that early tech knowing they can sit you down.
If they could have thrown confetti, they would have thrown confetti on the sideline. So Barry's like, "Am I supposed
the
to?"
only thing better than that game was the one game he just decided his own. You know what? I'm going to sit down. I'm going to sit down. That lasted. Malik!
Hey, we've talked about DP getting a technical in Philadelphia while throwing his gum away. Coach Thompson, what is the worst technical or best technical you've ever gotten as a coach?
I don't think I've ever gotten one.
What?
Yeah.
That means you haven't been coaching.
No, I get it in, but I don't think I've done it in the game. I get it in. I tell you what, just funny things, funny stories. I was up at Oakton High School recently, and I remember when I took the freshman team from Woodson, the football team over there, and DP and I were coaching together, and the Oakton notoriously had a terrible freshman team. They would turn into monsters in the next year, but their freshman team, or whatever, was just horrible. So we're running them out, and it should be an easy closeout. And then in the third quarter of the game, the Woodson freshmen started being freshman players. And I'm just watching them do stuff just unbelievably. And I called the most random timeout. I mean, it was third quarter, maybe 2 minutes in the third quarter, I called a timeout. I get them over there, and you've all had this experience where you're trying to get your wits about you because, there's no way they can access your emotions at that point. So they're looking at me. I'm still getting my wits about me. And the way the light hits that field, there was a good kind of sky in the background. I'm still trying to get to my wits. They're waiting for me to say something. And I say, turn around, look at the sky. And they all turn around and they look at the sky. And after about 10 seconds, they all turn around and they go, Coach, is that why you call the timeout? To tell us to look at the sky? And I said, no! That's why I called you freaking up. And get back out there, and it seemed to work. But I didn't get a T.
No,
DP, what's your worst T, man?
No, the worst T. I mean, the one in Philly was the worst ever.
Have I heard this one?
Ever. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, holiday tournament, we travel up to Pennsylvania from Virginia. And our head coach was from that area. And this is a quality tournament. But we've got a really good team. And they're trying to give you the home job. They're trying to work you. And I know, like I'm telling dude, like we see you. Like we see you being purposefully jerkish to our squad. And in the conversation,
hating on the golf team that we brought over.
Yeah, like how dare we bring a predominantly white team to Philadelphia for basketball? Like the nerve
and give them work,
right? Like the nerve of us to bring, as he professed. Oh, Duke Jr. showed up to win in this basketball team. and to win this basketball tournament. And the conversation's going on. I'm like, well, you missed that one. But let's get the next one right. Good try. We'll get the next one right. And he's just like, at second quarter, he's like, enough. Like, I've heard you enough. You said everything you need to say. I'm like, no, I haven't. No, I haven't. And there was a moment where the game was getting critical, right? And he missed a call, and it was his worst call of the night. And I just throw my hands to the sky, and I walk behind our team bench. Like, I don't go down the line. I go to the end of the bench and go behind it, and I just go, unbelievable. I take my gum and I throw it in the trash can, and I hear, boom. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you I was like, the head coach is like, well, what'd you say? I said, he just teed me up for throwing my gum away.
Yeah. Hey, look, DP's like, did I do that?
That's the only. I mean, the yeah. In that particular case, I wish I'd gone harder.
Yeah.
Like, to make it like I should have thrown a tantrum. Like, I should have just walked on the floor. Like, Doug, I'm out. I'm going back to the team hotel. Like, that would have made way more sense. But that one, and I've never gotten ejected in baseball. I never got a flag thrown in football, which is amazing. That's the greatest upset of all. Barry can speak to that being on a sideline with me in football is kind of saucy. And there's some different word combinations that happen in football that somehow, Barry, we managed.
Well, I think that the freshman squad that we had kept you busy. We had what was the kid from Lake Braddock that wound up going to Ohio State? We walked on the field.
Oh, AJ Alexander.
Yeah, AJ Alexander. So we see him walk on the field, and I look right at DP, and he knows, he gets right to the punter. He says, "Don't punt the ball to that guy." And lo and behold, the ball
sure enough
goes right to him. I've never seen a ball go one way and come back the other way so quick. And there's a picture of DP. The moment that ball, he has his big finger out and he's pointing to the punter like, come here.
And he's one of our favorite guys. He was one of our favorite, like one of the best. Jacob Oliar, one of the best young men, best athletes ever. That captain.
His name is saved as muscles in my phone, by the way.
Yeah. Like he was a freak. But he goes, but I know AJ. Like,
is that what he said to you?
Yeah, Woodson and Braddock.
Now, I'm glad you didn't tell me that because I would have gotten teed up.
Oh, well, we had a handful with Braddock, and for some reason we played maybe our best game. We just didn't do well because they were that much better than us. Yeah. But it was, that's a team that had that freshman team had 7 D1s on it. Yeah. One to go on and lead the NCAA in total yards his senior year. Yeah, no big deal. No big deal.
So for the listeners, we know the personalities of you two. We know the personalities. Who's a lot saucier?
Oh, easily. I fully confess. Barry and I do a really good job of good cop, bad cop, and that it switches. Yeah. That it actually switches depending on the moment, depending on whose voice is needed, whose verbiage is needed. There are times when Apex DP was appropriate. There are times when Apex Barry Thompson is ideal.
I tend to blow up at lack of focus. Like that'll get me quick. So that's more practice stuff. The taking the folks, it doesn't matter. But there was a JV team where some of the kind of near varsity guys got pushed down at Woodson. And so we were going through something, and I was getting the reps, right? We were doing units, like maybe we had 3. I had a big squad, 15 people, right? So maybe it was like the 2s and the 3s were going, and the 1s, the main guys, were behind me. And as I'm doing this before a game, I hear this clang on the rim behind me. And it was 2 of those near varsity guys that got pushed down. And they just decided to go down, and I stopped practice. And that, like, things like that, I have to gather my wits. And what I did is I stopped the whole practice. I pulled everybody in, and I said, there needs to be a punishment for those guys. And I'm just gathering my wits, right? And I said, I need you to tell me what should be the appropriate punishment for them. And so the kids are all mealy-mouthed and everything, and I'm slowly gathering my wits. And they gave whatever, and I said, I know what I'm going to do. I said, I'm going to take you 2, and I'm going to call your parents in. I'm going to tell them exactly what you did. All right? And so if you do anything near that again, I kick you off the team, they'll know why. But I blew a gasket. I mean, that's, that stuff, I got to restrain myself when that type of stuff happens. So,
Well, knowing you as a coach, and for those of you that are tuning in for the first time to the ticket, Coach Thompson is the quarterback guru. So if there's a quarterback in the DMV that is played anywhere, it's because they've met with Coach Thompson. And so with that, it's the details that he puts in there, the 5-step process to throw in with every little detail. And if you're off by a millimeter, he will let you know, and you will know, and you will perfect it until it's perfected. So you're meticulous and you're detail oriented. And so with that, you don't need to be crazy in games. You've already prepared people before the games.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so your job is to remind them and make them focus.
Yeah.
Now, coach like DP
go ahead.
comes in and he realizes you're rattled. You're shooken by that ref. You're shooken by that player. You're shooken by those girls over there. I need to come and change your focus. And so that's why you'll get the crazy DP.
Well,
not saying that DP can't have.
Here's how I get the crazy DP. If it doesn't look right, and if it don't make sense, he's gonna come in and start rearranging the furniture. And if somebody steps up, they go, no, that belongs over there. That belongs over there. I don't know why you're doing that. That's not smart. Do it this way. That's when you get the crazy DP. When you walk in the room and the furniture is stacked up against the wall, and maybe you got some crazy paint because you thought it added color, he's gonna say, no, that's coming down. You need a window blanket over there. I like a window blanket. You need a window blanket over there. You need this over here. Okay, fine. Now we can operate. I don't know what you were doing before. I don't know how it got this way. I don't care. But we ain't living with purple on the wall. That's when you get the crazy DP.
Harrison, have you seen Crazy DP yet?
The best way I can probably put this is that, great boss. But we'll have our conference meetings, and sometimes in the conference meetings, it feels like it's halftime and we're down by 30. The way the conversation goes. So a little bit of rearranging. I've seen of it.
Barry knows exactly what that sounds like. Barry knows exactly what that. My thing is I don't get upset about the thing that you don't know. I don't get upset if I haven't coached it, or if I haven't taught it. It's when I have to say for the third time that is not the standard. That's not who we are. That's not who you are. Or if that's who you think you are, you're wrong. Like we're going to reset the table for who you are. And the hard part of what we did was in a space of super talented athletes, super intelligent. These are smart kids that sometimes they want to be anonymous and they want to do less. And I want them to be greater than they probably have dreamed that they can be. Yeah. And that's the thing that makes my head hurt. It's no, we're not, and more importantly, it's when I have to coach coaches, that's okay. Yeah, that's when there's going to be coaching parents, I fully expect, like Barry's been in some real situations with me with parents who want to come in and be heard. Well, there are times when you just have to redraw the line that this is the team's time. This is team space. I don't come to your house.
Right.
If you come out here, you got to deal with that DP.
Yeah.
And that's when it gets crazy.
And that's where we kind of join in. I have a tough time accepting someone doing less than what they're capable of, right? And I have a tough time, just like he said, if I've coached it, right, and I've known you've coached it, and I know that you understand, and you still go do something. That's kind of, although we seem different, that's kind of where we kind of meet, is on that level of things. And I feel the same way about, parents. I love them, but there's a boundary for them. And I personally don't know why at the high school level, more coaches don't set a boundary with parents. When I was the head coach, would I say, I'll talk to you, but I'll talk to you on a Tuesday, and I'll only talk to you if you bring your child in to talk with you. And when we sit down and talk, we're not talking about any other player. So those are the rules. I'll talk to you, but it's on a Tuesday. Bring your player, take him out of class, right? And we can't talk about anybody else. We'll talk about your child, but we're not going to talk about anybody else. Nobody ever took me up on it.
DP, what that's a nugget that every coach needs to hear, and you need to cut that up, Mr. Harrison, and post that for all the coaches out there. DP, add to that. What's another thing that coaches need to do to protect themselves and help become a team with parents instead of having to combat with parents and push them aside so much?
Well, I like to say all coaches are the accumulation of the good and bad coaches that they've been around or been affected by. And Barry, Red Jenkins, Doug Craig, Jeremy Marshall, Hoss Tabrizi, Barry Thompson, there are folks in different places around the country that I've coached, and all being who we say we are. Coaches have to be who they say they are, and they have to be who they want their young people to be. Like, you have to be authentically what you're asking them to be, and you're willing to live that way. And so academically, to say that it's important, you have to make it a priority and to be true to it. If having a standard exists, then you have to be consistent with the standard. And then, as Barry likes to say, I'll meet you where you are to get you to where you're supposed to be. I'll meet you where you are. And you communicate, the study program project with Barry's boundary and foundation, colored between the lines, turned it into something else where the coaches communicate with the students, who communicate with the parents, who communicate with the teachers, who communicate with the coaches. And if everybody's communicating consistently, constantly about the standard, amazingly, the standard gets elevated. It's when there's a disconnect in any of those four quadrants, any of those four fence posts, then the thing falls apart. It falls apart.
Yeah, and to pick up what you said, Hoss, I think it's important to communicate to parents. I don't ever want them off on the side. And we talked about this. I think when it comes to running a program, DP and I have talked about this a lot. If there's a vacuum, in a sense, like an information vacuum, you got to realize as a coach, it's going to get filled up, and it's going to get filled up with stuff that it's just because it's there, and people are going to put stuff in it, words in it, stories in it, narratives in it. And so you have to realize that these tubes exist, and you have to fill them up with your stuff. So with parents, it's at different levels, but when I was running a youth club, I explained to them what I wanted their role to be. And very simply, I said, I want you to either coach and not coach. And I didn't put it arrogantly. I said, you probably know more than me, but if you're going to coach, come over here and coach. If you're not, don't. And I said, because at that level, learning's taking place. And it's tough for a young child to listen to your voice and then hopefully the coach's voice. It's disconcerting to them. And what they do as a coping mechanism is that they will freeze because they'll try to avoid this conflict. And if it persists, the next thing they'll want to do is they'll extract themselves from it. They'll say, I don't want to play anymore. So I said, coach or not coach, because there's learning going on, right? 2, I said, be a special cheerleader for your player. whatever sport it is, it's going to have ups and downs and tough moments. And in that moment, what the player needs from you is a reminder about how far they've traveled, not that pitch or not that game. You need to give them some perspective. Hey, it didn't go that way, but you keep practicing the way you do. It's going to come out the next chance, that type of thing. And then third, I said, be the example that you want. So if you believe in good sportsmanship, right, or do you believe in cussing out the referee because he didn't call? Well, there's a bad call. You want your player to go back to the huddle and get ready for the next play. Well, as a parent, you got to do the same thing, right? So I need you to be the example. So for me, it was either coach, not coach, be a special cheerleader for your child, and then, be the example that you wanted the child to be. So kind of what you're talking about, standards. And I think blending it with DP, as long as the parents can see that you're operating with integrity and you give them those guideposts, it kind of goes a lot better than if you just don't communicate with them all. You don't tell them what you're going to do. I remember one of the things I did in that first parent meeting, I said, you probably heard my reputation. And the room got quiet. And I said, because I play favorites. And the whole room got quiet. I said, here are my favorite players. And I rattled off the great qualities of a good student athlete. I said, those are my favorites. I said, if you're my favorite, I'm going to find a way to get you on the field. But if you're not my favorite, we're going to work on something. But those communicating with parents, tell them what the standards are, like you said, kind of communicating what you expect out of them more than just money and volunteering for things, but how they're supposed to behave, right? If they have a problem, see me on Tuesday, get your player out of class. We're going to talk about it, right? So those types of things I think are extremely important, no matter what your coaching style is and who you are personality-wise.
DP, I know we have to go to break, so when we come back, can you talk about who are your favorites and what attributes you need to have for your athletes? And then I want to also hear the same from Coach Thompson. And then I also want to hear, I was a testing coordinator at the school that you guys were coaching at. So my job was to help make sure that the scores were higher and that all students graduated and they were successful in school. And I was the JV coach, and I would look and see there's these freshman boys who were doing certain things that was unheard of. So we're going to talk about that when we come back from the break. 402-464-5685 if you want to text in.
All right, we'll throw it to break. 93.7 Ticket, one-on-one with DP, House Tabrizi, Barry Thompson. Don't go anywhere.
Tune in to live coverage of Big Ten Media Days from the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, July 22nd through 24th on 93.7 The Ticket. Join Derek Pearson, Jay Foreman, Nick Sainert, and Austin Orman as they bring you exclusive conversations with Big Ten coaches, players, and sports media professionals while getting you ready for the upcoming college football season. Big Ten Media Days coverage is presented by Advanced Medical Imaging, Stevenson Smith Construction, Currency, Warhorse Casino, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and League One Volleyball.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We've been hunting these fields north of Kearney since high school. My buddy Ryan has always been my wingman, the life of the party. But I saw a change, and he got really down. Talked about his life being worthless.
If you know someone who's struggling, talk to them about temporarily storing their guns away from their home, taking care of friends and neighbors. It's what we do in Nebraska. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hi, folks. The weather is for sure heating up, and Koppel Chevrolet GMC is following suit. The discounts are really as good as they've ever been. $14,500 off list price, or 0% financing on select new models. Folks, you heard that right. Smoking hot deals at Koppel. $14,500 off list price, or 0% APR. So take that short drive down 144th Street or at koppelcars.com. STK number G269520. All deals with trade-in and approved credit.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Hey, I don't want to hate on Joe Burrow. He's clearly in this tier. I think he's the bottom of this tier. I would go Allen Jackson and then Burrow.
You should be a politician.
You know what I'm saying? You see what he doing?
Yeah, he didn't have
He do it all the time. It's tricky, man.
Keep going, Jay.
No,
You're speaking my language.
Stop
You're
it.
speaking my language. Come on.
You didn't let him get you, Jay. I can't believe you let him get you again. God, hey.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You're listening to One-on-One with DP. Brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Next. Was I muted for that?
Yeah, you were, Tabrizi. You got to give me a couple seconds or mute yourself.
I said I don't care if it's DP's show. I'm going first.
Go, baby. You run it tonight. Do your thing. Do your thing.
Welcome to our masterclass where we're teaching parents how to be the right parents for sports and how to bring out the best athletes today on One-on-One with DP. So before the break, we were talking about what attributes that we look for our athletes to make them our favorites. So DP, let's start with you. Which attributes are you looking for?
Oh man, I was talking to the Huskers tennis coach last night, and even in tennis, and talking to gymnast, bowling coaches, basketball coaches, all of them landed on this: that the mental and emotional toughness is underrated. It's underrated. Those are the favorites, the people that will find a way rather than find. There's a gospel that talks about making an excuse or making a way. And coaching favorites are people that you trust to give you everything. Now, that doesn't mean that they all have everything, but they will give you everything. Yeah. And you trust those coaches, those players, and you coach those players. We like to think that we coach everybody the same way. The reality is that when people lean into us, we lean back. We love players who lean into our teachings and coachings, that lean into their greatnesses, right? That are willing to accept all the lessons. And those are people that become, quite frankly, they become great players and they become great coaches when they're done playing. We are able to identify who those folks are. But my favorite players are players that I trust, that I can trust. I can trust them in the classroom. I can trust them in the hallway. I can trust them at home. I can trust them amongst their friends when there are no other adults around. I can trust them in the locker room. I can trust them in the huddle. I can trust them to lead, and I can trust them to be led. Those are the things. And then all of those things accumulate in winning. And if you do those things, we never have to talk about winning. Winning happens. Winning happens because somebody's willing to work and lead with others and consistently. And I think that's the simple thing for me.
The quarterback guy, the quarterback guru.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well,
I was trying to say both. I was trying to give you more names.
Yeah,
as many as you
remember, I have a foot in both worlds. I have a training development world, and that's different from the coaching world in a sense. So in the development world, anybody who's putting forth a consistent effort to get better, I love it, right? So they'll come to me. They got all different kinds of skill level when they start. But there was a saying I heard, which is never interrupt anybody who's making progress, no matter how slow. So that's on the development side. So if I see this constant working toward improvement, that's better. I always tell people that come to me and say, can you evaluate them? And I really can't evaluate them. I said, here's what you need to know. Do they love, are they having fun with the process of getting better? And I'll say that's the only thing that I see that connects a 10-year-old that's pretty sharp with, somebody who's playing in the Big Ten, for example, right? And I've had a couple of those guys. They still love the process of getting better. So on the coaching side, I'm with DP. I remember, I think it was the second state championship. I was at Flint Hill, and there was this one guy on the team that if you saw him walking, sometimes you can judge an athlete by kind of how he walks. This guy walked like a 40-year-old man. And it turns out that he was a player that was always doing exactly what he needed to do every single time on the field. Like a play would cut back and he was right leverage and he would make the tackle. Not because he was athletic, but because he was doing what he was supposed to do. And we had 4 or 5 Division I players on that team. I mean, guys that played at Oklahoma State, at Indiana, UPenn, JMU, probably leaving somebody out. But when I found out he was a senior at the end of the season, I was like, oh, how are we going to win a game? Because I just saw him making so many plays, and he was the most unathletic guy relative to the other guys. Of course, the second season worked out okay too, but when you see a player like that lead, last year we had a guy named Ian Cawley at WNL. He was like that. DP would have loved him, and it just was always there doing what he was supposed to do. And these are the type of players. I called Ian after one of the games, and he was emotional. It was like the 3rd or 4th game of the season, maybe the 5th or whatever. And he was emotional. I said, what are you emotional about? And he said, I'm proud of myself. I mean, those type of guys. I mean, how can you not love coaching them?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, it also speaks volumes because if I had a son who went on to play college football and won 2 state championships, and he probably walked not like a 40-year-old man, but like a 23-year-old man when he was 16, 17, and 18. Yeah. I might have talked about him, but no, the way you are, you don't brag on people.
No.
You're just a humble, modest guy. So
yeah, just get ready for the next one. And he's doing great, by the way. He's doing social media for Georgetown, men's basketball and women's basketball. Yeah, so the little videos you see going up, that's him. He's doing that. Yep.
Both him and your daughter, if anyone talks to them, they'll remember who they are when they talk to them.
Yeah, good people.
Lasting memories when I would talk to them at Woodson.
Yep.
Speaking of lasting memories at Woodson, DP, start us with the program that you guys created, that those boys would dress a certain way. They would have to do certain things. I'm not trying to spoil it. What were these things the standard that you guys created for these young gentlemen?
Well, I mean, when I got back from Utah, and connected with Barry, it was Barry's program, and Barry had. I mean, literally in the first 2 things that we talked about was, one, he needed help, right? So he was going to have skill position.
Right.
You take all the linemen, and I was like, offense and defense. It was like, yeah, okay, well, okay. But then it was, but we need to get these young ones ready. Mm-hmm. And I knew that he wasn't talking about football. Mm-hmm. I knew he wasn't talking about football. And he had the outline for a study program and having folks identify what their time management was going to be and how this was going to go down.
Sounds like the Coach Carter movie.
Oh, it was that on steroids.
Well, I'll tell you, let me interrupt. I'll tell you, sometimes these ideas come out of very selfish motivations. And my motivation, here's my motivation. I competed in 8 different sports when I was growing up, and I went into college as a dual sport athlete. And I was just I was kind of frustrated that these players would say, "Oh, I have so much homework to do," and I'm like, "Okay, I know something's not right." And so I landed on the 168 hours, just forcing the players to articulate on paper how were you spending your time during the week and what it was being spent on, right? And I think we made the parents sign off on it. I told them to be brutally honest, and that I wouldn't, when I gave the deadline, that I wouldn't let them practice until it was signed. So what DP was talking about earlier, the parents had to be bought in. And I think that first year, there were like 2 people who didn't turn in on time, and the parents are coming and crying to me. And I said, no, it'll be fine, and that type of thing. And had another parent one time that called me up and said, hey, he's taking so many classes and da-da-da. And because of the 168, I knew 4 other guys on the team that were taking the same class. And I said, well, let me check with them. She goes, oh, no. I said, well, I want to see if they're overwhelmed, then we'll know, right? And the other 4 had done the assignments on time and everything else. And I said, well, maybe he needs to take a little bit of time away. She said, no. I said, well, let's take a week, make sure he gets caught up and all that stuff. And then you don't hear anything. But it was just to get them to look on paper and the parents to see on paper that it wasn't football that was causing the issue. It was all the other things that they were putting before their education that was causing the issue, right? So I've been fond of saying this has nothing to do with grades, but we're going to use Coach Thompson's definition of education first, which is if you have those little free periods in school, you're not going to pull out your phone. You're going to pull out your books, get 3 hours of studying done. If you're still being driven around, you'll probably spend at least 2 hours in the car. You have your book in the car, not your phone, and you get 2 more hours done. That's 5 hours. Then you can go home, study an hour a night. That's 10 hours worth of studying, and you're clear and free by 8:30. So now what are we doing with our time, right? Now we can get on the phone, but we got to shut it off at a certain point, and we got to get in bed at 9:30, and we can get up at 5:30 or 6, and now we have time to. We say we want to be good. Well, now we got time to be good, and then that was the basics of it. And then DP, as DP does, he said that's good, but wait till I put the carpet down and put the furniture on this bad boy. And he did a great job with it. He did a great job.
Well, I mean, the boundary for it for me was that the greatest excuse that anybody makes is I do not have the time. And whether that's professionally, personally, high school, athletic, or otherwise, that I do not have the time. Well, we all have the same 168 hours a week to accomplish everything, anything and everything that we want. And there are people, the 4.0 student and 2.0 student have the same 168 hours. So then it's a matter of work, effort, and consistency. But then the other side of it is saying that, listen, those books, we can expand that. Look, you spend 20 minutes in the locker room before we go take the field.
Yes.
Books are open. Not only are books open, but I'm going to walk up at any moment and ask you what you're reading. Right? I also want the report. I want the report. These are amazing personality profiles. One that as soon as they make the team, they tell you how they spend their 168 hours. Some will create a graph with full data and graphics.
Yep.
Some will handwrite it in pencil at the last minute. And they're telling you exactly because they are the same student as they are an athlete. They will tell you who they are. And they can't wait to tell you who they are, right?
Yeah.
It also tells you who the parents are, how they respond to it. Hey, do they just sign it? Or is there, hey, there's something we need to talk about? It lets you know who the educators are because the educators get immediate feedback, right? And the athlete, and then in week 3, when you give this program and hand it over to your captains, and say, now it's your program.
Well, I'll interrupt you because you skipped a step. That interim step that you came up with at the time we were there, the kids had these little agendas that they gave out for free. It said what's on it and everything else. As soon as he found out that, he says, okay, let's start filling those agendas out. And what happens with boys is they'll do what you say. So they'll say Monday math, Tuesday, whatever, and they'll just put it in. And Monday was the day we're going to check it before practice. And so the first time you get it, it just says history. But you said that, what are you studying in history? And I go, well, we're studying this. And I go, oh, I don't see anything on there about it. you have a quiz due this week. And they go, yeah, I have a quiz, but I don't see it written. You have a quiz Monday. This is Wednesday. I don't see it. The quiz on there Thursday, Friday, Saturday to remind you. And they go, okay. So now they come back the second week, and the quiz thing is filled in, and history says we're studying whatever European or Civil War, whatever it was. Now I can have a conversation with them about the Civil War. I can say, hey, what part of the Civil War are you studying? Now we're talking about something other than basketball, football. And then what he did at this point is that he isolated the guys that were kind of struggling, and we knew which classes were the same. So they started matching people up, an A student with a C student and a B student, and turning the notes in. The C student had to copy everything over really quick. The kids can do it on a computer. But now the C student is getting a chance to look at A student notes. You got me? And he's having to take the class again, and he can see what the difference is. And he just went crazy. He went crazy.
Shared IQ. What I know is one level, what Hoss knows is another, what Barry knows is another. It's what we all know shared that sets the standard for academics and athletics. That shared IQ is a beast.
Harrison, I want to hear your voice, so you're gonna have to send us to break. But before we do, when we come back, I want to hear a sports story when DP was young, and I want to hear a sports story when Barry was young. Go ahead, Harrison.
All right, don't go anywhere. We'll get all that next. House Tabrizi, Coach Barry Thompson, DP, right here, one-on-one.
Tune in to live coverage of Big Ten Media Days from the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, July 22nd through 24th on 93.7 The Ticket. Join Derek Pearson, Jay Foreman, Nick Sainert, and Austin Orman as they bring you exclusive conversations with Big Ten coaches, players, and sports media professionals while getting you ready for the upcoming college football season. Big Ten Media Days coverage is presented by Advanced Medical Imaging, Stevenson Smith Construction, Currency, Warhorse Casino, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and League One Volleyball.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y the Ad Council.
They're too young to vape.
E-cigarettes are the most used tobacco products among youth. They know vaping is dangerous, don't they? The majority of youth who vape use flavored products, the kind designed to seem harmless.
If they were vaping, I'd be able to tell.
Many vapes are small, discreet, and resemble everyday items. Don't avoid the conversation. Talk to your kids about vaping. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired in association with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and the station.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them. right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid?
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
When only the best will do. Sartor Heyman Jewelers.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com.
Sartor Heyman Jewelers.
You're listening to One on One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, Aerosmith. Yeah.
All right, House Breezy. Floor is yours.
I know we said we're going to hear some stories about when DP was a young athlete and when Coach Thompson was a young athlete. But we'll do what most shows do. We'll make you wait till after the next break.
A tease.
We're going to have a quick segment.
Baby. Got the tease going. I love it.
We often talk about in sports whether we love LeBron James or not like LeBron James. And one of the main reasons why I don't like LeBron James or athletes of his era, we'll say, the haters will say, is lack of loyalty. And starting to really see how it's a business. So, for example, Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta, it's a business. They drafted Michael Penix because it's a business. How crazy and how rare is it that the Portland Trailblazers just signed Damian Lillard?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I didn't think it was a smart decision to let him go. When you find those generational players who actually love your community, who actually love you. I mean, that used to be a thing. Art Monk, Darryl Green, folks that would come to it, go to it. Karl Malone for the bulk of his career. John Stockton said, I don't want to play anywhere else. And they worked to make that work for them. Like Kobe being a Laker. Like there's no, listen. We like the fact that when people can be loyal, that they are, but it has to be mutual. That's the part that people forget when it comes to business, transfer portal, NIL. It has to be mutual. And getting everybody on the same page all the time is simply not human nature.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just players too. Look at the Mavericks.
It's right that it's not just a player.
Barry, where were you when Luka got traded to the Lakers? What were you doing?
No, I was catching the riffraff. Like I'll have to admit, I'm not as plugged into the sports transactions. I catch a little drift and drop, but when it bubbles up to my level where it gets my attention, you know that it's kind of big. And I heard everything that was going on, and all the reasons, and everybody know the reasons. But it speaks to what DP said. It's these sports things will blow up over minor things when you look back in them. Somebody wants to say, I'm doing this or I'm doing that, and they're not looking at the picture. You look at the Cowboys during their run, right? They had something going on, a lot of smart decisions being made, and then these two guys kind of got in a fuss, and it's been downhill ever since. The Redskins had it going, back before the new ownership. There were 3 people involved, and it worked really well. And I'm sure they didn't get along all the time. And it can happen at every level where it's going good, but the 2 personalities that are involved, or 3 personalities involved, start to irritate each other, and they lose track of what's really important, which isn't them. It's what's going on the court of the field. Jumping back to one of the things I would also tell parents, it said never forget that it's about the young people on the field, not the old people off it. And I think in pro sports, what happens is there's somebody that gets irritated and it becomes about them versus putting this organization together, and things get out of whack. And maybe somebody climbs for more power because I think I know what to do, and they kind of succeed in that little climb, and they go off and make a bunch of whack decisions. And you're as a fan or as a player trying to figure it out, and then you hunker down too, right? Because you can look up. The one thing about really good athletes, I think people don't take into account, is that they're highly intelligent. Good athletes are highly intelligent. And the one thing their sniffer is really like keen on is if you're feeding them some BS. You feed a high-level athlete some BS, you have lost them.
Well, the same, and Barry, it applies that the three of us would have loved to have stayed at Woodson in full.
Yeah.
But as the Osmonds sang, one bad apple.
Yeah.
One bad apple.
Don't give that guy any power. It doesn't matter. We weren't supposed to be there. We weren't supposed to be there. We were supposed to go do greater things.
But here's the thing. That's exactly my point. That we would have, if left alone to just do good, we would have been left there to do good. And we would have done amazing things for amazing young people, and they would carry it into the world. Yeah. But it took one bad apple to make it, you know what? I'm cool.
and the good part is, even separately, we've all done good things for good people. I mean, leaving there, I had a great 4-year run. Like 4 years, I think I lost, well, not lost, but the teams I was coaching, I think
14-year run. What you said?
4-year run. 4-year run where I think we lost 3 games in 4 years with 2 different teams, right? So it was great coaching the other guys. It's just that it could have happened there, right? It could have happened there. He's had tremendous.
Coach, I'm gonna have to cut you off because Harrison's gonna fire me if I can't control the clock. I want to hear our stories when we come back after the break. I want to hear about a story about you and DP as superstar young athletes. But we gotta go to commercial break. Harrison, kick us off.
Yeah, and absolutely. Before I have to do this, though, I do gotta, because he's one of my favorite players. And ironically, you're talking about Damian Lillard. I had this for my own show, but we'll go to break on what was Damian Lillard's greatest moment back in 2019. Game winner over Paul George. Don't go anymore. More one-on-one coming up next.
Chance to send the Thunder home. Lillard, long-range three. And it's good! At the buzzer! Damian Lillard! Are you kidding me?
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey racing fans, this is Brie Marie inviting you to join me and James Rowland for the Finish Line every Sunday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Catch up with the local dirt track drivers, national racers, and everyone you need to know about in the world of racing. Don't spin your wheels, hit the gas, and join us Sundays at 7 p.m. for the Finish Line on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402 421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something. Something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
But it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Welcome back, race fans, to the finish line every Sunday night. I'm James Rowland. Join Bree Marie and me every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket FM or theticketfm.com for the finish line. All the latest news for local and national motorsports, all in one place, 93.7 The Ticket FM.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Tune in to live coverage of Big Ten Media Days from the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, July 22nd through 24th on 93.7 The Ticket. Join Derek Pearson, Jay Foreman, Nick Sainert, and Austin Orman as they bring you exclusive conversations with Big Ten coaches, players, and sports media professionals while getting you ready for the upcoming college football season. Big Ten Media Days coverage is presented by Advanced Medical Imaging, Stevenson Smith Construction, Currency, Warhorse Casino, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and League One Volleyball.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Derek Pearson, brought to you by Canopy Street Market.
Someone's got to tell that guy he's wrong, that Haas Tabrizi is the host tonight. And Haas Tabrizi is still going to stay, even though he had to be somewhere at 7 Central Time, because he really wants to hear this next segment.
Get him.
We're talking about great athletes in the first hour and what makes great athletes. And we're talking about how to help create great programs and what coaches need to do with parents and create boundaries. Well, let's hear about you two as athletes. Let's hear those stories. Who wants the microphone first?
DP, lay it on. He's got the stories.
Well, here's the thing about Barry Thompson. Again, the big part of asking players to be the best versions, you have to be a best version yourself. You have to have some knowledge and experience with pushing yourself in uncomfortable places to get desired results, even surprising results. I met Barry. Barry was the opposite side of town guy for me. So when we get to middle school, there's this guy. He's quarterback, wrestler, track guy. What are we doing? Basketball? What are we doing? Other side of town. But Barry was so in our world. I was the Fresh Prince. He was Carlton.
Come on now. I had a little Fresh Prince in.
he had a different world happen.
Well, honestly, it was
I was in Green Valley.
Did you steal a game winner from him?
This guy was a national roller skating champion, but he would have been a national rodeo champion had that been the choice. He would have been a national caliber wrestler had that been the choice. So no matter what he chose, and again, his brother's a D1 baseball coach. He comes from a stock that is built for this sort of thing. But he was a multiple sport athlete and a captain. He was the captain. Listen, he was the captain of the team that I played on. He was the captain. So imagine I didn't play as a sophomore. I was playing county ball. Barry was the returning quarterback, and I knew, this is a dude. But let me see. Let me see it up close. And there was a control. There was a control of all things around him. He had a poise and a moxie that made everything add up. It made perfect sense why this guy was the guy. Captain of the football team, captain of the wrestling team. If he wasn't captain of the track team, it's only because he chose not to. Right? But in the space, but he was the most popular guy in the building, homecoming king.
Jesus.
Right?
What was the
Who is this guy?
And
we ought to meet him.
There was 3 brothers in the senior class. So in a super white high school, Barry was the man. And it wasn't given, it was earned. And what Barry did for me in a cosign was epic, because Barry fought for me in rooms that I couldn't have been heard in. But he also was the North Star for, being academically sound and successful is okay. It's to make the uncool cool was vital for me.
Now, Carlton didn't do all this stuff.
Well, he really did, though. That was the thing, that if he could turn Will into somebody that was going to go to college and actually have a plan for it, it made all the sense in the world.
We're going to talk about TV characters. Did he ever have 4 touchdowns in a game?
No, Carlton never did.
I don't know if I quite did that.
Well, but Barry, again,
Al Bundy always talked about that.
Yeah.
Well, but Barry could talk about that. You're talking about a black left-handed dual threat quarterback in a conservatively white high school and program, where there were 3 dudes who were school leaders at that position when Barry got there. Barry, I tell you that there was a run of quarterbacks: Tom Terrell, Jack Jetty, Jimmy Bramble, who was a world leader in these days.
Yeah.
And Barry still was the guy. And in a backfield where decisions had to be made, and Barry had to manage personalities, because he had 5 dudes in the backfield who all thought they deserved the ball the most. He had a future NFL starter who was playing tight end that junior year. You got to figure out what to do with him. You have another Division I tight end on the other side. You got to feed him too. And by the way, he's got some Division I linemen up front that he has to put in the best situation. And Barry was a manager of talent and vacuum. Barry controlled his vacuum and was the best athlete out there.
Yeah, we ought to get this guy on the air. I'm telling you. I'm writing it down. This Barry guy, we ought to get him on the air and interview his ass.
Hoss, to measure him up, to say that he was Michael Vick before Michael Vick is fair in the state of Virginia.
Oh, that's great.
You were that quick?
I wasn't quite that quick, but I guess I was quick enough. But
I see you as a 270-pound man right now, so I can't see the 4.340.
Yeah. No, it's and talk about stories. It's funny, and I think hearing DP articulate that, and I've had other teammates kind of over the years articulate, I never walked with any of that in mind. So their feedback on how they saw me really has informed my coaching of quarterbacks, to get them to understand that people are watching even if they pretend not to. And that's an important part of what DP talked about, being able to be trust. We talk about the 22 hours off the field versus the 2 on, right? Are we doing the right things through that time? And that'll carry you through the 2 hours. And oddly enough, my story, along with, DP and I, the one game we had where some decisions had to be made, actually tie back to Lincoln. I had decided, I think I've told this story before, but in the competitive skating arena, we had gone to national championships a few times, and a player that I really respected, or a skater I really respected, I was older, and he was behind me, and I was in Persian Auditorium, and I heard him say, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. And it just rung in my ears. And I went on a search to find out what that meant. And as soon as I found out what that meant, I got lit up. And I went home and I wrote on the back of my door like I was going to be a national champion. And I dove into it, how I was going to get there and everything else. And what's indelible to me about this story is that the moment I won and they put you up on the podium and they give you the plaque and you're the national champion, I remember stepping off the podium and thinking to myself, is this it? I don't know what I was expecting. And for about 2 days, I was kind of shell shocked because I don't know what I was expecting, but it just felt like I was there. And by the third day, I realized I was no longer a champion. I was a defending champion, right? That was it. That was indelible to me because I learned so much that it was about the journey that I took to get there, and it really wasn't about that thing. And I think those things have really informed my coaching, right? That I get people, or I try to get kids to focus on the process of getting where they want to go, right? Rather than what they're going to get when they get there, and to remind them constantly of how far they traveled. I know that's a big part of my coaching. Sometimes I have a guy on the field who's a little frustrated, and I said, I got your first video when you first came out here, so let's get that real. So telling a story, that was one that was indelible for me. Yeah, there you go. There they go. Hey.
Those of you that are listening, I'm holding up a picture of this number 26 with a nice afro and this
26.
Clean number 10.
Yeah.
That's Mr. Barry Thompson.
Yeah.
So we heard a lot of great things about you, Barry, as a player, and that's just DP's personality to tell stories and add color. Is there a play that you remember from DP when you guys were teammates?
We alluded to that. I think at the time, limited media, people actually read the newspaper, 3 channels out. Our squad at WNL had kind of risen, and the context is that there was an expansion going on in the DMV, as we call it, and it was expanding westward out beyond the Beltway, and so the inner ring schools had kind of dominated for years. They were losing their penchant. They were smaller schools. The new ones were bigger. They opened up a secondary school that had 5,000 kids in it. We're sitting in there with maybe 1,400, 1,600 kids. And, when it comes to football, numbers matter. And as they're reorganizing everything, we got put into a district called the Northern District, which at the time included the TC of Remember the Titans. It recruited a Robinson team that was going to go on to win multiple championships, West Springfield, all the big newer schools. And we really weren't expected to do much. And we had a big team, but at that time, everybody was 2 platoons. So no matter how big we are, we weren't quite 2 platoon. And this matchup blew up in the paper and the Washington Post that we were 4-0 and we were going to face a 4-0 team. And it's hard to describe the environment, but people were paying attention to that matchup. Close game. They had us most of the game, but I was getting frustrated and things weren't going right. And I remember one particular play, I said, DP, I said, can you get it? He goes, yeah, I can get it. I said, well, get down there. I'm going to give you the ball. And so that was a kind of functional relationship that we had. I think as outstanding as DP was as a high school athlete, I think the most amazing thing is the athlete he's been since high school. And I use that word properly. not just a business person, not just a coach, not just, I mean, literally watching how he's responded and melded and gone to different places. A true adult athlete, even though he might weigh a little bit more than when he played. And that's the biggest compliment I give it. And
Are you talking about him as a men's softball player? Or are you talking about him building radio stations?
The list is going to go that long, right? The list goes that long, right? You Google him, and the list goes that long, and that's an athletic career. And people like DP, they tend to announce themselves early. They do something to show you, here I come. What happens, and it's to his benefit a lot, is not everybody always paying attention. So the other thing he has going from, they never see him coming until you're sitting down across the table from him and you get, whoa.
I mean, for Lincoln, when you hear sorry to cut you off, when you hear the highlights of the Supernovas,
yeah,
you get to hear that voice that they heard in Utah and Carolina.
Yeah,
that's the voice. And for
running,
Lincoln to get that, they don't realize the greatnesses that they get. So.
Yeah, and rehabbing historic buildings and going on and it's been an athletic. Everything that he's doing now was evident in high school. The way that he kind of flowed through different things. Hit a bump. I think it was hit a bump in basketball. He says, okay, fine, give me the mic. I'll do that, right? That baseball career, football, socially, the connections, the way that he connects with people, right? And makes connections with people. Just unbelievable. A giving heart, a service heart. We famously tell the story. We didn't see each other for 23 years, and I'd see him in a hallway. And my first words aren't to him like, hey, what's up? What have you been doing? I was like, what are you doing? And he responds, what do you need me to do? Right? That type of thing. So as great as his athletic endeavors are, the athletic career that it kind of spawned is really what I think needs to be paid more attention to, because he's still coming. You need to pay attention.
Well, I could definitely attest to that. For me to become a TED Talker, a best-selling author, to get back on the air with one of my best friends and be able to talk on the air for the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. It's all because of DP. And there's so many athletes in Lincoln that, hey, there's a young lady that's going to be a future WWE. Hey, DP had her on the air first.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
DP saw that talent. DP created that talent. He cultivated that talent. He helped grow it. He helped blossom it. Yeah. And it's every hour, it's a different athlete, multiple athletes that get to go and show their greatnesses. And so
let me take it on for Harrison Thompson. I'm just kidding, Harrison. But he'll
get to 25.
He'll say, listen, he finished coach basketball. He's 15-1. Well, the way I got there was he came to me and said, I want you to coach the JV team. I was like, all right, I'll coach it if you pick it. So I would coach if you pick it, because I knew he would know what to put together. I said, I'll coach it if you pick the team. And right there at the end, I almost made a mistake. And he goes, no, you don't want that one. And he sat down and explained to me why I wanted this other guy. And it worked out perfectly. So, and then you look at that team went on to go on and win the state championship. So this guy right here behind the scenes, a little puppet master, he figured out his thing, that team needs you. And I said, well, I need you to pick it. Right. So because I'm not good at that. You give me anybody, I'm going to coach them. But he said, no, you need these guys on the team. Go coach them. And so he has.
DP is the second best talent evaluator that I've ever met, other than Carolyn Rose Fawcett Tabrizi. He's just extraordinary at picking out talent.
Yeah. Walks in that room. If the furniture ain't right, it's like, nah, we need to get rid of that futon. We need a sectional over there. We need a lamp over there. Yeah. So,
Why is the show on the 17th and not the 27th? Why couldn't this be the 27th?
We can do it again on the 27th. I promise you. Let me say this, in twofold. That first, that play that he's talking about. What he didn't say was there were Division I talents playing ahead of me who had played the year before. They were upperclassmen. In that particular moment, Barry did a thing and went to the coach and said, I need Derek. For what needs to happen, I need Derek. He's standing over here. Look, we it was 15-0. We didn't have much success. He's like, I need some explosive. And here's what he did. He called first play, right? I need you to run this crossing route, and I need you to do it in a hurry. I don't have a lot of time. Get there. And I'm cold. Yeah, I'm standing there. We run this crossing route, and Barry hits me with a laser across the middle. Now, the responsibility overrode the fact that I knew that there was an all-state linebacker and an all-state safety waiting for me. But Barry, by trusting Barry threw me open. He threw me to where I could not only catch it, but then do something with it. And we get 30 yards. The next play, literally, Barry's like, this is what we're going to do. And we ran a play that was not a play. We literally, I said, I'm going to run a down, out, and up. We literally called it the Springfield Express, the Springfield Special, because it did not exist. But he had the mindset and the belief. And I just said, get it out of your hand. Wherever it is, I'll go get it. But get it out of your hand and get it vertical. He gets it down there. I make a play, 1st and goal at the 2. I didn't get in. I'm still mad about that, 45 years later. But we punch it in, and we just never had another chance.
Yeah.
That changed how coaches thought of me. It changed how players thought of me. But it leads to this, that trust. When I say that trust matters, that Barry trusted me with and around his 2 young people. He had them in the car around us. He had them at practice. Hoss trusts me with his young people. Hoss trusts me with his family. He trusts me at his dinner table. He trusts me with his name and reputation. And when I tell you that the greatest compliment, they can talk about the athletic stuff and the success, but the fact that these 2 exceptional men trust me and makes me want to be trustworthy is when you know that coaches are being coached. The best coaches can be coached. And that's the thing that's there. I've said this to them privately. I'll say it to them publicly. A big part of the pride that I have in this station, and Harrison will vouch to this, that I'm proud of the ability to allow Harrison Arns to be who he's going to be. It allows me to share Barry Thompson, Hoss Tabrizi with the world. And here's the thing. No matter where I go, I take them with me. And it's right. And it's good. It's good. They trust me. I trust them. And if I had a son who was an athlete, I would trust them with them. That's the thing, that they've trusted me. I trust them. It is a big part of coaching. It's a big part of the brotherhood. And it's a word that we haven't used yet, but it absolutely exists when we coach, play, or otherwise. Love.
Yeah.
They coach from love. They live from love. They make decisions from love. And it is in full. So I love these 2 guys. I've been clear about that, but I'll say it here tonight that this ranks with some of my favorite work, is that I get to have these conversations with them. And I love you guys, and I appreciate you.
We love you too. Love you too.
Love you too, Mr. Miyagi. And we know how important it is that, hey, I get to be on a microphone with these 2 guys. And one thing you talked about, Harrison, you've grown so much in these 3 years. And that's why every segment I'm saying, hey, Harrison, we want to hear your voice. We want you to kick us to commercial break because you do so much for the station. So I'm appreciating that you guys let me be here for this long. We're going to go back to one-on-one with DP. I'm going to not be the host anymore after the break, but Harrison, go ahead and kick us off.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, as always, gentlemen. But we'll throw it to break here. Don't go anywhere. One-on-one, DP, Tabrizi, Coach Barry Thompson. We'll talk to you guys in just a little bit.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with Ready Mixed Concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Tune in to live coverage of Big Ten Media Days from the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, July 22nd through 24th on 93.7 The Ticket. Join Derek Pearson, Jay Foreman, Nick Sainert, and Austin Orman as they bring you exclusive conversations with Big Ten coaches, players, and sports media professionals while getting you ready for the upcoming college football season. Big Ten Media Days coverage is presented by Advanced Medical Imaging, Stevenson Smith Construction, Currency, Warhorse Casino, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and League One Volleyball.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to The Mercado today for the best meat in town. Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. One-on-one. We thank Tabrizi for deciding to be the motor, the straw that stirs the drink. It is always an honor, and as we head back into football season, this station will have more Barry Thompson, absolutely, going forward to help us make sense of all things sports and life. We jokingly talk, and Harrison and I have this conversation that jokingly one-on-one is like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes it's the X and O, sometimes Jimmy and Joe, sometimes it's life, sometimes it's just love and the need for more of it. And when you find good people, you have good conversations. And that's why it's always important to have Barry Thompson as a part of these conversations. He grounds me and he gives me insight, and he triggers good thought. We jokingly talk about good trouble.
Yes.
But that we both effort to make things better, and not everybody has that. Barry, it's that time of year where a couple of weeks, next week is Big Ten media.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you about a couple of young men that I'm going to see in Vegas next week. And I know that you are connected to the Stone family. Preston Stone will be a representative there at the Big Ten football media. Who is Preston Stone?
Man, Preston Stone. Talk about in the last segment we were talking about like athletes kind of announce themselves, and you just have to kind of pay attention. So there's 3 Stone brothers. I was fortunate enough to train and coach Lindell, the oldest. Then Parker is the middle one. He's a receiver, and then Preston was the youngest. And when Preston would come up to Woodbury, he was just reminded me of like a little colt that was just running around, and you knew he was going to turn into a thoroughbred. And I haven't worked with him. He stayed in the Dallas area, and then you just kind of watched his rise. I think he and Shador had an ESPN game on TV a few years ago. I forget who won the game. I think Preston might have pulled something out.
Mm-hmm.
You look at his rise through SMU, kind of making his noise there, gets injured. And then now he's at Northwestern, and I think he's probably in position to have a really good season. But he is that kid that when you saw him, you just kind of, there's a certain energy there. And you just knew where it was going to go. So he's a smart kid, really loves the game. I know it sounds cliche, but I'm certain he's a student of the game. It means a lot to him, and he's a guy that leans forward just like his brother did, Lindell. And I'm nothing against Parker. Parker's a hell of a guy too, but coaching Lindell, when you were with him, you just knew that everything in his body was leaning forward to score the ball. And I'm sure that the grown-up version of Preston is the same way. Like, give me the ball. I want to go get this thing in the end zone. And that's a little bit different personality from somebody who just wants to take care of the ball. Nothing wrong with that, too. That works as well. But he just has that aggressive kind of personality. Let's go score. And I'm sure that kind of permeates throughout the team. So that, to me, that's who Preston is.
Billy Edwards Jr. Is also going to be in Vegas. Talk to me about young Mr. Edwards.
Man, I'll try to keep it short. But Billy and I, when I was running the youth club, that's when we first kind of crossed paths. There was a little bit of a separation there as he goes through his high school years. We reconnected a little bit in his Maryland years, and we kind of maintained a relationship. Billy is professional. That's the best way I can say it to him. He's professional. He's the type of guy that fans out there may not know about. They may see wherever this draft pick goes, and they may not think anything about it. And then the next thing you know, he's going to have a 5 or 6 year career in the NFL. He's the type of guy that is always fully prepared, really is a lean forward football guy, highly, highly, highly intelligent. And just he's professional. That's the best way I can say it. He's talented and he's professional. And I think he's in a system, by the way, that fits his style perfectly, especially coming out what they did at Maryland, where he was forced to kind of make tight passes and good decisions and stuff like that. They didn't really have game breakers. And now to Wisconsin's going back to that old style where they'll get under center and they'll do, fullback tight end, and they'll give you play action and get the ball downfield. I think Billy, I don't want to jinx him, but I think he's going to have a great season.
It's always interesting, right? That we start to identify personality traits, and you start to look at people and try to figure out, well, wait a minute, what's the common thread? And as we start to identify Division I quarterbacks and what's required to play at that level, it's not just height, weight, arm speed. It's a bunch of things. What's the core? Mom and dad are sitting at home with their young person. What are the things that help you identify that this is going to be an athlete?
Well, it's easy to say, but a quarterback has to be comfortable in every corner of the locker room. He has to be a person. He has to be a good person. I mean, there are talented guys that are kind of pricks, and talent has tolerance. But the best ones, I've said this before, if you were to listen to teammates describe, Tom Brady without mentioning his name, just describe him, and another set of teammates describe Drew Brees and hear them talk about that quarterback that they played for, you would hear a lot of the same themes. If you were to go where Peyton Manning talked to his teammates, all those stories are going to sound the same. You have to be a good person. You have to be an upfront guy. And what they're most upfront, the foundational brick for them is how hard they physically work. It's not – kids can grow up and be very much checklist kids. So like I'm doing this program with my quarterbacks right now. So I have 4 areas that I say that they've got to cover every day. They've got to cover their what we call lonely work, their IQ development, strength, and athletic development, which is running, jumping, starting, stopping, 4 things. They need 5 championship habits to drive the results off those 4 things. They need to manage time, sleep, nutrition, hydration. And the 5th one is how hard do you physically work? And just this week in my sessions, I'm forcing the kids to actually work hard for an extended period of time. We chose 4 minutes. And they were bent over at the end of 4 minutes. And I did that not as punishment so that the young guys could understand when I say work hard, this is what working hard means, right? And that the more that you do this, everything that you can be is going to come after that, right? So your confidence, your leadership, it's not going to come before you decide to work hard, right? And when you look at guys like Brady or Breeze or, guys like Billy Edwards and like Preston, those guys like Noah Kim and like Grant Wilson, those guys are extremely hard workers. And everything that you can say about them afterwards comes after their willingness to really work hard. And it's tough for young kids right now to access that. They just don't grow up with that experience that whoever's listening is a little bit older, grew up with. I don't mean to be a fuddy-duddy, but they live a life of convenience, which is great. Parents have done great by them. But what they're missing is how can I go at something so hard that at the end of 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, I'm dripping in sweat. Can I work that hard every day? And so we just gave that to our young quarterbacks, and that's what those guys possess. They just have a relentless kind of desire to get better, and they work extremely hard at it.
Well, you mentioned Grant, and Grant's another Big Ten starting quarterback.
Yeah. Well, right? He won't be the starter, but
I have a sneaky suspicion.
Okay. All right. There'll be breaking news here.
Yeah, when we see this dude,
we're gonna light this thing up, boy.
Hey man, listen.
He's doing well.
I circled number 5 on that roster.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah, tell me what you're gonna tell me. But he's another one that, if you talk about traits, right? Workability and coachability matters, and it shows up with that young man.
Yeah, no, it does. And for younger players too, I know there's a lot of 7-on-7 and all that good stuff, and I get asked about that, and I tell my parents to kind of cut the conversation. I said, of all the Division I guys that I have a chance to work with, starters at other levels, whether it's Charles Mutter or Brian Resto at Ferrum or Colton Kilmer's off to Shippensburg. When they come home, they never ask me to go 7-on-7. They always want to get on the field and say, "Hey, coach, can we work on this? Can we do this? This is a pattern I want to work on." Daniel Leposki at Lafayette, right? They always want to come to the field and work on something, and it's something related to their offense or their plays, and they're always looking to kind of get better. And it's just a real important aspect of being good at that position. And like I said this week, I'm kind of bragging. I introduced it to about 7 or 8 of the quarterbacks. And I'm real happy because now they know. If I said, "Hey, you're going to work hard for 5 minutes or 10 minutes," they know exactly what I'm talking about now. And it just changes you as a human being. So if there's a quarterback out there that's trying to do this, man, find something that you can do If you're 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, find something you can do for 10 minutes and you do it so hard that at the end you're just dripping in sweat. And do that every day. You will be a change player. All the other stuff is kind of checking the list, and the kids are really good at checking the list. Hey, go study huddle. Hey, I'll go study huddle. Go to your weight trainer. I got a speed trainer. Go check that. I'm playing multiple sports. Check that, right? Check that. But this ability to work hard for a sustained period of time, it used to be something we kind of grew up with, right? Your granddad or a guy around the block, he said, come, he found you. He said, hey, get a shovel. Come on over here. He had you dig something out or fix something out, right? It was hard. They didn't want to hear any excuses right? And you went and did it. And the important part is when you do involved in that type of work, you actually meet yourself. You start talking to yourself. Hey, why am I doing this? Hey, can I go a little bit further? Can I go a little bit more? I think it's an important aspect that's being missed on some of the quarterbacks that are coming up. And if there's any parent out there, kid, listen, it can be anything. I'm talking, but I tell you what I gave one of my kids, TP, you like this. I said, just get on a basketball court, shoot the basketball. I don't care where you shoot it from, but run and sprint and get it before it bounces twice. Take 3 big dribbles, jack it up again, and keep going for 5 minutes. I said, you'll be exhausted at the end of 5. It can be anything. Don't need a cone, don't need a trainer. You just gotta get after it.
There's another young man that you mentioned. No Chem has found a new home at Eastern Michigan.
Yes.
And I love this for him.
Yes.
I love this for him because that looks like a room that he can excel in, and a program that wants him.
Yes.
Right. Doesn't need him, wants him.
Yes.
There's a difference in that. How is that young man, and what does he offer Eastern Michigan?
He's doing well. Noah has had a fight from the beginning, and he's fought through it. He has a little saying. He says there's beauty in the struggle. And boy, has he had a struggle. But I think I agree with you. I think I talked to him recently. I said, hey, does it seem right? Does it seem real? Yeah. He says yes. So after, starting his career at Michigan State on the 3rd field rather than the 1st field, working up to winning the job in the spring and chasing off a 2-year starting captain, to hitting the portal after that situation blew up and Coastal not being what it was kind of advertised for whatever reason. And then I think he's back up north. I think he's found a home, and I'm excited about the season that he's going to have. I think he's definitely earned it. And I think, Eastern Michigan will do good. And they got a couple Michigan State people there on the roster, some of his old teammates. So I think they're going to do really well. He feels pretty good about the team.
Barry, it is that time of year where, whatever's next is in play. So we're going to go to break. When we come back, I'm going to ask you about what's next for Dylan Raiola. What's next? Yeah. What are the things that we need to pay attention to?
Okay.
Right. In looking for a young quarterback with a lot of eyes on, a lot of burden, a lot of responsibility on. What are going to be the keys for Dylan Raiola to have success? Because Nebraska will not have success without him. We'll talk about that when we come back with Barry Thompson here on 101.
Hi, folks. The weather is for sure heating up, and Coppell Chevrolet GMC is following suit. The discounts are really as good as they've ever been. $14,500 off list price, or 0% financing on select new models. Folks, you heard that right. Smoking hot deals at Coppell. $14,500 off list price, or 0% APR. So take that short drive down 144th Street or at CoppellCars.com. STK number G269520. All deals with trade-in and approved credit.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs has been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
You're listening to One on One with DP, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment, one-on-one. Again, shout out to Hoss Tabrizi and Barry Thompson for this special 2 hours of radio. Glad we got to do it, and we will do it again. A big part of it is, as we headed into football season, Barry becomes busier, but also worth the squeeze.
Yeah, the value skyrocket.
Squeeze worth the juice.
Right, juice worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
Barry, the story here in Lincoln is quarterback play.
Yep.
And no matter how it plays out, the name gets said more than the responsibility.
Right.
I think the responsibility has to be identified. The keys have to be identified. And then, but the big part, those pieces around him.
Yes.
Matter.
Right.
Play calling matters. There are a lot of oars in the water when it comes to Dylan Raiola.
Yes.
So second-year quarterback in the Big Ten. He's going to go to Big Ten media. He'll face the crowd. He'll face the masses and all the questions and all of the doubt. will land firmly on his shoulders. What are the keys for a successful season if it's Dylan Raiola?
Well, it will have started after the season's over, right? So, how hard is he going to work? And we talked about this a lot. Like, how much is he going to go at it? And you got to remember, I think it's, it's tough. I don't know how a young person, you got to be really driven to get back in there and really look at everything that you can improve upon, then attack it, right? So that's the first thing. That's the work that we can't see. The next thing is, I think he's got to realize he's not the novelty anymore. Right now, there's an expectation. And to bring up another name, Mr. Sanders at Colorado, he was in a position that was kind of unique among all those quarterbacks that we're talking about, and that he was asked to win games. And so there comes the other dividing line, right? You get a second year in the system. You had a chance to get used to all the calls and everything else and the concepts. But, is he going to be asked to win games, right, which he wasn't asked to do before? Does his preparation match that ability to do that? Or is it that you do have stuff around, including a running game and a defense, which kind of lessens that burden of wanting to or being forced to win games? Do you just need him to perform and complete passes and take care of the ball? That would be a great step. And then finally, you have sophomore seasons aren't guaranteed. I heard a little back and forth between Mr. Clark and Mr. Cam, and he used the rookie seasons of Jaden Daniels and RG3. And then you look at RG3 sophomore season because things around him changed. And now you're asking him to do different stuff. He doesn't do it as well. The surface isn't the same. So it's a real interesting. It's going to be a great story. I heard this term the other day, that great stories make great stories. I think he's a great story. I think him at Nebraska is a great story. And I'm hoping that it's going to be a great story. But it's going to be a great story one way or the other. Whether he is able to, at this young age, summon the maturity and ignore the distractions and the celebrity of this thing and really get down to the nuts and bolts of playing quarterback. And it really is going to, for me, it's going to come down. Are you going to ask him to win games? Is he capable of doing that? Or do you have these other things around him that are going to assist in the winning of games? So I think it's a good story. I'm tuning in.
Barry, what does he need around him? What is second year quarterback? You get to make the menu, right? You get the ingredients. What needs to be around?
If I've got a high-powered guy that wants to go downfield aggressive, the first thing I want a solid defense to give the ball back to the offense as frequently as possible. So that's the first thing I want. That alone will help a lot, especially if you're running an offense that kind of has a penchant for scoring. Now, the second thing is, man, if I have a run game, right, if I have a little bit of a run game, then that makes the whole show a little bit easier. You have to give defenses things to defend. Defense, I don't know if people think about it, but basically defense is always cheating, right? We talk about the spaces on the field and how many people they have, and the coordinators are looking and studying formations and tendencies and stuff, and they're always cheating to stop something, to take something away. They'll give you something else, but they want to take something away from you. The opposite side of that is that you have an offense that just presents too many issues for a defense to defend. And then really you have something. You combine that with a defense that gives the ball back. Most high-scoring offenses have defenses that get the ball back to them. And that's how they get their opportunities. They just get more opportunities to score. They get better field position to score. Your special teams can help you in that area. But it's really a defense that's going to give you the ball, that's going to get stops, get off the field, give you the ball back, and that really puts you in a position to score. There aren't many, you can't count on 12-play, 90-yard drives to score the ball. It just doesn't work that way. So I would say anything, a defense that gets you stops.
Well, you're a coach, and you've been the renovation coach, you've been the rebuilding coach, the redirection coach. You understand what that means. This is year 3 for Matt Rule, and he's got a second-year quarterback and a blue blood organization program that has a lot of pressure building on it. What's Matt Rule thinking about in trying to get through year 3 or get to year 3?
I think, I guess he has trust in the OC, right? You've got a quarterback. That's great. But like I said, it's up front, right? Can you get those things done up front? Can you protect them? And do you have enough defensive linemen that can protect linebackers? How are you going to play defense to get those stops? So hopefully I haven't tracked it. You guys have tracked it. But hopefully they went to work on that line because that's the part that's missing. Everything else is kind of 7-on-7, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Skills, do all that stuff. But you've got to be serious in those trenches. Those guys would be able to, on one side, got to be able to use their hands and get upfield. And the other side, they got to be able to use their feet and keep people off the quarterback. So I don't have his job, but, man, I'd have been looking hard at that part of the football team. I really would.
You know how we do, bro. It is get the big thing, get the big boys going up front.
Yes.
So the dancers can dance, and it is important, and it's the Big Ten.
If you look at the transfer portal too, there's a reason why those D linemen and offensive linemen are pulling the big numbers, even though we're some skill players.
That's big.
And you know what it is, Harrison? There's actually a shortage of big men right now. It used to be, you were overrun by skilled players. And now what's going on, there's really a shortage of big men, and everybody's scrambling for good ones.
It's going to be an interesting run. We will head to Vegas and meet the 54 stars and the 18 coaches, and over a course of 4 days, we'll know more, but we won't know everything. Week 0 ain't that far away, August 28th, Huskers in Kansas City. Against Cincinnati. Barry, thank you, kind sir, once again for all that you do and who you are. Appreciate it. We will do it again shortly, my friend.
All right, man. Peace.
Harry Barnes, take us through. Get us through Ticket Weeknights, kind sir.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. Like DP said, Ticket Weeknights continues rolling through. I will take you through it. We'll actually talk about the Big Ten Media Days, also dive into the Damian Lillard trade a little bit more. So don't go anywhere. All that up next, as well as the best of the ticket right here, 93.7 The Ticket.